up and down the street and do cartwheels.
My liquor pick of the week.
Liquor? I don't even know.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So good. So good.
Damn it, Wendy.
Get rid of my hairy balls.
When are we hanging out?
People accuse me for having a set of balls on
It
me.
almost tastes like a spiked coffee.
Yeah, it's delicious, right?
I feel like I'm watching a drama unfold.
I didn't get my balls lasered off.
Oh, I'm gonna gag. I have to contain my crazy a little bit.
Tails over cocktails.
Tales of a cocktail. So let's get it on.
You're listening to Tales Over Cocktails.
Welcome to another episode of Tales Over Cocktails.
What's up?
How's it going, everybody?
I just heard the shouts out there, and somebody was playing a bugle.
Really? Yeah, I just heard all the clanging of the pots and pans right now and the screaming. You know what I've actually been doing? I've been blowing bubbles out my window.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah,
We
and then
should
it's
all
funny-
do bubbles from now on. Forget
We
the
should.
pots and the pans.
We should. And it's funny because my downstairs neighbors were like, bubbles. And then the guy's like, wait, is that coming from you? I'm like,
I thought
yeah.
Danielle was handing you the glass of wine for a second. Did you see that too? Did anyone see?
No, I have a different, I guess we all have different setups the way it comes out.
So we are here
For
with
me,
a guest,
Danielle's
by
all
the
way on
way.
the bottom.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so weird. For me, it looks
Yeah.
different, but we are here with a guest today. Danielle, would you like to introduce?
Yes, we are here with the one and only, I mean, this guy's the best, Dr. Bradley Trevax. He is from Island Fertility out in Comac, and it's part of Stony Brook Medical, and he was my fertility doctor when I had my eggs done, and he's here to talk to us about some amazing news. Governor Cuomo is now allowing fertility clinics and doctors' offices to open and see their patients. So, Dr. Trevax, thanks for being here.
It's fantastic.
Good to have you.
It's really great to be here. We're really excited about being open and having the opportunity to let our patients back in the door. Obviously, safety and taking the precautions to make everyone feel comfortable, and obviously stay safe is paramount. But at the same time, people who want to have a baby and start their families, really the time is always ticking a little bit, and they want to come in, and it's not a choice. This isn't elective, and it's actually, I mean, amidst all the work the governor is doing, he had a minute to spare and focus on what we're doing, and saying that it's essential is really it's a big step for everyone in our universe, and we're really excited. So good to be here.
Amazing. I think that deserves a cheers. What do you guys think?
I think so too.
I'm drinking a beer. I got my Montauk.
There you go.
whatever
But I
you
have to
want
open it.
Quarantine has been sponsored by Tito's here.
So here's to the great news, Dr. Trevax.
Here's
Yay.
to making some babies.
So you're officially open now or not?
Yeah, we opened. I mean, we've been quietly just seeing a few patients that have had to come in. Cancer patients, we stayed open, and if they wanted or needed to freeze eggs, then we did that. But now we're open for all the types of cycles that we do: inseminations, IVF, diagnostic. It's just a little bit of a different setup. Everyone's got their masks on, and people are calling in from their cars and coming right into the office. There's no one in the waiting room, which makes it a little bit better and less congested and makes everyone a little more comfortable. But yeah, we're open.
I was going to say, obviously it's by appointment only. So the phones have been ringing a lot. A lot of people have been trying to come in.
I mean, patients are emailing and calling, and really it's been every 2 weeks that we've sort of been getting a little bit of feedback from our reproductive medicine, like governing body. And then patients are waiting, like they're anxious to start. You could look at it from the whole other side of it. 2 months ago, people were really actively getting pregnant and trying, and then they're pregnant after like 8 years of trying, and there's a coronavirus, there's a pandemic.
Yeah.
So, in a way, like for a teacher who's not going to school, it's great because I can say, stay home, you're locked in your house, don't be around people, but it's scary. You've been waiting such a long time, and then all of a sudden this happens. So that aspect is a little bit trying, and it's already anxiety inducing for everybody, but it's you take the good when it comes, and you ride it out. I think everyone's accepting this new sort of normal kind of state. And we used to see patients from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now it's 6 to 3. You just have to space it out because you can't have 20 people sitting next to each other. So it's okay.
This must be a really scary time to be pregnant.
Yeah,
It
I was
is.
just going to ask.
I mean,
what kind of advice would you give to somebody who is pregnant right now?
Well, you know what? It's strange because I always say, it's common sense. Don't touch your face, wear your mask, wash your hands. We're all probably Purelling and doing those things all the time. And that's all you can do. People are going out more than they should, right? Everyone sneaks here and, you're doing your thing to stay normal. You think you need to go to the store a little extra, a little fresh air. But when you're pregnant, you're frozen a little bit, and that you don't want that to be sort of paralyzing. But at the same time, in a month or two, I think we're going to, as each week goes down the road, we're seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, I think. Whether that tunnel gets extended down the road for a second wave is a whole different conversation. But, I know at Stony Brook at the hospital, the number of admissions are going down a little bit. And that's a trend that we're seeing over the last week and a half, which is huge. So I think it's going to get better, but it's a little scary to be pregnant. We don't know. The people who had a baby in China in January, those were the first people. There's a study of 40 women who were pregnant, but they were third trimester. So we don't know a lot about the first trimester exposure at all right now. And that's where it's a little uncertain. We knew with Zika virus, it caused the babies' heads to be really small. And you could say to someone, I know you have travel plans, but you don't want to take a chance. And there was very obvious evidence what could happen. And it's the worst to tell you can't go on vacation, cancel your trip. It's hard to say that to someone. I hate to do it, but this you don't know, and it's unknown, especially if you're 9 weeks pregnant and 10 weeks ago when you were trying, you didn't know anything different. So I think you have no choice if you are pregnant, and you just take the precautions that we're all sort of, you feel like it's redundant. You listen to TV and you're like, how many times, how much can we say wash your hands and social distance and all these different things? But
have you personally had to treat someone who is pregnant and COVID positive?
I haven't had a patient come in who's COVID positive in early pregnancy. So we've been really fortunate. I've had patients getting ready for a transfer of an embryo and low-grade fever, achy, cancel the cycle because it's
too risky.
It's too risky. And, you do so much work to get to that point. You don't want to take any chances, but it's a strange time, right?
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you knew this because obviously, Danielle did her egg freezing, but Astra and I have also done it.
We have.
And so we're very familiar with this whole, you get your period, you get in touch with the clinic and everything. Astra, do you have anything to chime in with as far as,
I'm just, always interested in hearing other people's perspectives on it because obviously it's something that I chose to do. And I was going to say the one thing that the three of us have in common is we've all frozen our eggs.
Wes did it too.
Yeah, I did mine.
I was actually going to say, Wes, when is it going to be your turn to, do something?
Mine are in the freezer.
Something, Wes.
Yeah, he made eggs last night and put them in the freezer.
But he didn't fertilize them.
No, he didn't fertilize them.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's.
I just find it fascinating, and to be honest with you, it's a lot of people are always asking me questions since they found out that I did it. I mean, Wendy and Danielle were asking questions. Wendy specifically was asking, Danielle and I had to talk her down from it because, you know, a lot of people get nervous and like worked up over it, and it's like, you're gonna be fine. We promise.
It was scary at first, but I got to tell you, so I had mine done at Extend Fertility, and they were wonderful. Like once you go in the first time and you see what you really have going on and what you're there to do, it's really not bad. Like they really tell you every step of the way. It's
because you do get yourself worked up. You're not sure. You know, I actually had mine done in Jersey. I did mine at RMA, and it was a great experience. Best ever.
Yeah, and you're all basically a doctor. You can give yourself injections. It's awesome.
Freeze your eggs. Once you're done, I've really never had anybody regret it or like it almost feels amazing because you've gotten over the hump of like, should I do this? Should I not do it? Once you do it, and it's what, 10 to 14 days, and it's gone. It's so fast, and every person who's done it, I almost feel like it's like that game of electricity where then someone else comes in because you go and you're like, it was nothing. Like, how could you not do it?
I know that's exactly the reaction that we had.
Yeah. I actually do have a question though for you, just out of curiosity. And what sparked this question is, I don't know if you guys had seen in the news that Khloe Kardashian is in the process, I guess.
Hey, Kardashian free zone. Come on.
Oh,
Shush.
This is
Shush you, okay? So
this is relevant.
She wants to have a second child, and I don't know if you guys heard, but she wants to have Tristan as the potential sperm donor.
Stop. Are you kidding me?
No, because she wants to obviously, I guess, keep, you know, the same DNA. But she also was saying, too, that, you know, what if she ends up getting married to somebody, you know, and she has these eggs that are frozen, which she wants to turn into some embryos and stuff. Her battle that she's going on with is, do I turn them all into embryos? Do I do half and half? And to be honest with you, I was actually thinking the same thing. Now, I didn't have a boyfriend at the time. I wasn't with anyone at the time, but I did hear that when you freeze your eggs, that they are more viable when you make them into embryos as opposed to freezing them as eggs. And then
Dr. Nebraska, get over here.
So,
I need you.
No, you're
Do
right.
we need his junk?
An embryo is obviously a little bit bigger than an egg, and it freezes better. It survives the thaw better. We've been thawing and freezing embryos forever, for 25 years comparatively to eggs. But it's tricky once you decide to fertilize them, especially in a situation where you're not necessarily in a relationship that could or might be long-term. Now, in her case, if he gives the sperm and she gets ownership of it and is freezing it as if it's like her own donor sperm.
Yeah, she said that there would be paperwork involved just to specify.
So much paperwork.
Yeah.
Say if Astra has 20 eggs. Let's just say. Or let's pretend I have 10, okay? If I wanted to take 2 and make that and you know, take his stuff.
Sure.
You're okay with that, right?
All right.
And make them embryos, like, and then keep the other ones
as
like,
just eggs. Well, I was thinking about doing that where you could do half and half, because let's just say,
you especially have a lot to spare.
Yeah. This egg maker over here, you're like a chicken.
Okay, we'll put it out there again. They got out 21 and they saved 19.
That's great.
Wow.
And it was
I had 15 and we saved 12. That's not bad either.
That's so
wow,
good.
look at us with all our eggs.
Like I had said, as long as I had gotten a minimum of 10, I was going to be fine. But I was like, I don't know. It could be 5 or 6. You just never know.
And I've had the conversation. We'll say, all right, if you get this many, you freeze half as eggs, half as embryos. The tricky part is if you come in, I'll speak freely. If you come in with your boyfriend and you're in love and he's sitting in the room, you want to make embryos, right? Because you guys are together. But once he gets out of the room, then you got to have the real conversation, because if you freeze them all as embryos and break up and he's like, hell no, you can't have I don't want you having my baby. And for like a situation where I'm going to make it up, but you're 30 and now you're 40 and your eggs have changed. Well, maybe the window's closed and now what do? Or you're going to go have chemotherapy and this is your shot to preserve your fertility. If you freeze these embryos with your boyfriend's sperm, who when you're 16 together and you're unfortunately got to go under this treatment, that's a no, you don't want to do that, And the technology is really getting so much better that we lean on just saying freeze your eggs then. You
So
know, if you're not
is the window closed to take some pre-frozen eggs and make them into embryos?
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. Because what if, what if I were able to get my hands on donor sperm, let's just say, and I want to maybe make 5 of my eggs into embryos just so I know that they are potentially going to be 100% kids. And then let's say I meet a guy and then, I try the natural way. Let's just say I can't get pregnant, but then at least I have some open eggs that can be given to him,
No, you thaw them one at a time.
Okay.
And about maybe 15 years ago when they used to freeze them, you'd freeze them in batches. And it was up to like the embryology, 3 or 4, but then when you thawed them, you were thawing 3 or 4. It used to be one at a time. And that's why with eggs, we want more because not all of them necessarily will survive the thaw or fertilize.
Yes.
So that's where having some room to work, wiggle room with a few extra eggs is important. But yeah, you could do it.
Especially Asha, she just wants all the options and she's got like plenty to spare.
I want so many
her own basketball team.
Listen, I don't want a team. The most I want are maybe 2 kids. But at this point, if I'm by myself, 1 and done. But at least I have the eggs. I mean, I hope that at least one of these eggs is going to be viable,
Now we just got to find you a boyfriend.
It's options.
Dr. Trevax has 6 children. They're beautiful.
6?
Yeah.
It's amazing. There's one room in my house that they don't really know exists. And I go in here and it's right off of the kitchen. So they could find it, but it's amazing. It's like the one sacred little sanctuary.
That is so odd. Wait, so
wow.
Not to get personal, but were these kids natural or were they with
oh my gosh. No, they were natural.
Okay, just curious because
I think when I met my wife, I always tell her like she wanted a big family apparently, and she was like, "Oh, if it doesn't work, I'll have this fertility guy around." So
it's like a win-win. It's like either we're having natural babies or you're going to be pulling these eggs out and fertilizing them on your time off.
One way or the other, yeah.
Now, Dr. Trevax, I know that you guys were doing some virtual doctor's appointments. Are you still doing that if people are scared to come in? Or?
We are. We're doing all the initial consults right now. We're doing via telehealth, and that way it's limiting traffic. A lot of people, you don't need to leave your house, so we can talk in person. We can talk this way, take a good history. And then now that we're open, if your cycle is starting or depending on where you are, great. Come in tomorrow, come in Friday, whenever it is. And that way you can start sort of the workup and get going. But initially it's actually been oddly pretty seamless doing it this way, although it's a little strange and impersonal to a degree. I think everyone's sort of finding out that you can do a lot without having to necessarily go into the office. For us, it doesn't work that way, but.
I love telehealth. I've been on that telehealth board for a while. I think it's amazing.
It's like the next level up from like Dr. Google,
Like, hey, how's my rash doing?
Exactly.
Out of curiosity, how did the visual, like the virtual meetings work? Just for people who are curious.
We use a different app that is through the hospital system. It's Microsoft and it's Microsoft Teams, and it's HIPAA compliant, which I think Zoom is not as much. So
we can't really be getting sexually explicit with you right now.
Oh, you can. It's fine. But,
we might have a Zoom bomb.
So it's actually pretty good. I mean, exactly. You may show your rash to the camera, but what we're working with, people aren't like putting that up.
Oh, my ass? What?
Exactly.
You don't want to be sharing your medical history unless it's secure.
Let me see that ass.
Yes.
Extra.
What color is the discharge? I can't see.
I forgot who shared it in our group chat. Do you remember?
Me. I'm going to send it to you, Dr. Trevax.
Oh, the gyno thing?
Can you please? I'm going to put it on the screen. Please. And I'll put it up right here on the screen because I feel like everybody needs to see it.
It was so funny. Hold on. I got to get it.
Our group chat is really out of this world.
Sorry
for unprofessionalism,
definitely not HIPAA
doctor.
compliant, that's for sure.
No. It's definitely not PG rated either.
What do you expect? We drink and we talk.
All right. Hold on. Let me see.
Every once in a while, we're serious. I can actually
I had a feeling we were going there. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's a few things that have gone around, and like if they took like the top 5, I mean, there's the one guy. He's really been dominating. I don't know how to describe him, but he's on a lot of what?
Is that the porn star?
If that's what he is, I don't know. He's
The guy with the
he's on every other text I get.
Me too. It's ridiculous. It's so funny. You know, he was a real porn star. He actually died a few years ago. But I don't know if you guys know about this porn star, but he's got a big penis. It's like maybe 3 feet long and 2 feet wide.
Well, he might not have a problem impregnating anybody.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not about the length, right, doctor?
That is true.
It's like what I say with Words with Friends. It's not how long, it's where you put it.
Listen, as long as it's aimed towards those ovaries, you're good.
We're so immature. I'm so sorry.
No, this is great. I'm just not thinking anything.
Please, you want to know something? You want to talk about crazy? I actually had tried to come up with like a random reality TV show idea around the eggs, and I was like, how am I going to find my future baby daddy? And I started thinking, like, well, I wonder if it'd be possible to have like a bunch of guys, submit a deposit, but then you mix it up. Whichever sperm actually impregnates in the egg, you wait 9 months to find out who's your baby daddy. But then I said, I don't know if sperm can live with each other like that.
That's actually
That's a pretty cool idea, though, right?
It's disturbing, but it's great.
You go on Maury.
Tell me that you would not watch that reality show.
I would watch it. I mean, when I trained in California, and the laws, New York is like very strict and stringent, but in California you could, let's say a couple comes in and the sperm's not great and they need donor sperm. He would produce the partner, you would take the donor sperm, mix it up, and then use it for insemination or IVF, and they get pregnant. And it was maybe to make the guy feel better that maybe there's a chance that it's his.
Maybe his swam in there.
Either
right?
one or the other. You don't make like a petri dish of mixed sperm. It doesn't work that way.
For this reality show, they would make an exception.
See, that's why I was like, let's just say you get, your top 5 contenders. So they all give you a sample. You mix it up. You put the whole blob in there. And then all of a sudden, 9 months later, who's my baby daddy? And you have to figure it out with the way the baby looks. And then throughout the months, like, with the sonogram, well, does it have your nose? Does it have your lips? Does it have your head? Like, it'd be cute.
Then you become closer maybe with one and you're hoping it's his, but you don't know.
Right. And
I see it.
It's a surprise for everyone at the end. I think.
By the way, speaking of reality shows, you guys need to watch the show Too Hot to Handle. We binged it in like 2 days.
Really? I was wondering about that.
It is so good.
What is that one about?
So basically,
where is it?
Good.
Sorry, we're getting
It's on
totally
Netflix,
off topic,
right?
but you were talking about reality shows. It's on Netflix. It's 8 episodes. Basically, you get all these like hot people, and then they drop a bomb on them and say, you can hang out here, but the whole point of the show is to not
they can't
hook
have
up. and
sex,
not,
right?
Yeah, they get money taken away from them if they hook up or touch or anything.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Astra wouldn't last on that show, I tell you.
No, she needs to be on season
It's
2.
quarantine, and I am lasting like you wouldn't believe.
It's really, but there's something very endearing about it. I don't know. I suggest you watch and let me know what you think. But I do like your idea for the who's the
I
baby
always
daddy.
pick on her, Dr. Trevax. I'm always picking on her.
Who's my baby daddy? That is going to be my reality show. And you know what? If you would like to be on board as my doctor, you are more than welcome to be.
I would love to be your consulting doctor on the show.
And then we can do
Yeah,
like
we all have to
she can
try something
swipe for sperm.
They need to come up with that. Actually, do you know that they actually are having a new reality show coming out? I think it's what the heck is it called? I can't remember what it's exactly called, but basically it's trying to find your future baby daddy. So
Oh, my friend's on that show.
what's the name of it again?
Yes!
Something about love.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get it for you. Ashbeth.
Yes. And I was like, where was I when the casting was going on? Because I need to find my baby daddy.
Someone I knew went through and I guess basically it's like a catalog. Is that how it works? When you're looking for a donor sperm?
For
Yeah, how does it
sperm
work?
donors, it's like a byline. Like it's height, weight, ethnicity, highest
Hobbies.
college.
Right. Do they also
interest.
Do they provide a photo of them as a baby still?
Some do. Like, it's like you can pay up. It's like you can go to the gold package, I think.
Listen, I want the VIP status package. I want to see like what my future child's gonna look like.
I think they have one where like you can talk, like you can hear like them talking, so you hear their voice, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but.
Do you also deal with this at your fertility clinic, or are you just?
No, they get it. They go to the sperm bank and the cryo bank or the egg bank, and then we, once they make the decision. But
Gotcha.
So interesting. So the woman that I know, she ended up choosing a donor that had similar traits that she does, which I thought was interesting. But the baby looks just like her.
Really?
He is adorable.
Oh my
it's
God.
tricky. Like you pick, it's hard to know which way you go with that.
Yeah, like I would think you'd want to pick somebody who looks completely different.
See, I want somebody with light eyes and that's tall
Me too,
and tan. You know, I do have another question too. Are you dealing with a lot of single women that are coming in and having their babies on their own?
A lot. I mean, in the last 5 years, so many more patients. There's actually groups, single mom by choice. There's groups in Manhattan. There's groups in Brooklyn. They're all over. And why wait? You know, like it. I think as time is going on, women are obviously realizing that sort of don't need a guy. And
I know, no offense to you men, but we really don't. We just need your sperm.
But they, you know, you're on a time frame, and some guys are like, sure, we'll get there. Well, you're 35, you're 40, you know, like the window is there, and they just do it, you know. And I'll say to them, you know, it's hard when they're on the fence and they don't know if they should do it, because you're like, well, maybe tomorrow I'm going to go on a date and meet the right Mr. Wonderful, you know. And at the same time, I always feel like if you were to go now and get pregnant and have a child and you met that same person, they're still going to love you. They're still going to love you know.
And that's going to be your path no matter what.
And that's going to be the J-Lo movie, because that's going to be my luck.
I will say this, and I think I can speak on behalf of all three ladies here. Doing the egg freezing thing was probably one of the best decisions.
The best thing I ever did. I actually kept a journal, and I wrote to, I know this may sound crazy, but I wrote to like my future children, and I told them like what I did and what I, you know, the first injection, I videoed myself, and the last injection, you know, and I was like, this is for my future children. And, you know, I knew like I had some health issues, and Dr. Trevax knows that. So like, that's why I had to do it, just in case I wasn't going to be able to have children naturally. So I said to myself, this is all worth it. The injections, the black and blues, the bloatedness, everything, you know. And I wrote a diary, and I wrote a journal, and I even took voice notes, and I emailed myself things. And, you know, it was a great journey for those 14
you know, for us, he and I just kind of started our relationship. And shortly after, that's when I was going through the egg freezing, and he wasn't supposed to move in with me, but we kind of like really bonded over this experience, right, Eric? Yeah.
He's like not even paying attention.
No, he's listening. And then like, at the end of the whole thing, because at first I was like, oh, I'm going to do the injections myself. I'm a control freak. At the end, I'm just like laying there. I'm like, yeah, inject it. It's cool. It was right?
Trust exercise.
Yeah, it was really it was a trust exercise. So it was really something nice for us to go through together. So whether you're single and you're doing it, or you have a partner, it's really like a wonderful experience. So thank you to you, Dr. Bradley, for like being out there, and to people like Extend and Astra. Where did you go in New Jersey?
RMA.
Yeah, I mean it's really, you guys are truly wonderful doctors, providing such a service.
You know,
if anybody wanted to reach out to you, Dr. Trevax, would they be able to do that? And where can they find you? I
am through Stony Brook Medicine. Our fertility center is Island Fertility. And I'm on every social media that anyone else is on, but it's Dr. Trevax. And, you know, it's something that it feels like a leap of faith when you're thinking about it. And I always say to women when I'm talking to their patients, I think it's in my daughter, who's 10, when she's 25 and in college, it would be very routine. Like, I think I don't know if college will still be around. It'll be virtual. Who knows now? But, when you're 25 or 30, you freeze your eggs. You have car insurance. You have house insurance. Like, it's such a nice, it's an opportunity that
it's the best investment you could ever make.
Yeah. But I would love it in the future if it's like a thing you just do.
Yeah. And you don't think about it, and you do it, it's done. And the plan is that you don't need them, right? That
It's just it's like a backup plan. That's all it really needs to be, is a backup.
Yeah.
It's true.
I don't want to cut anybody off, but we do have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining on our meeting.
What I do want to do is I'm sending you guys a text really quick. Sorry, Doc, I don't have your number. But I want your, this is from our friend Christy. She wanted me to show you guys something. She's sending us all a little gift. So if you guys check your text messages.
Okay.
Stop it.
Oh, that's so awesome.
That's amazing.
And just so we can put the doc in on everything. So my friend Christy, she's a mask maker. She's been making masks for everybody, like healthcare workers and anybody that wants them. She's not even charging for them. Literally, she's doing them out of the goodness of her heart. And the other day, I'm going to show you, she decided to make us Tails Over Cocktails masks. And then she made Wes one that has a bunch of liquors on it. So
Liquor? I don't even know.
There was a lady at the grocery store that complimented the mask, and she wanted Christy's information. So I was like, friend me and I'll send you her information. So there's a lot of good people out there.
Follow me.
Really are.
Well, just so you guys know, she put it in the mail yesterday, so you should be receiving it within the next day or two.
Oh, Christy.
And I had to wait until today to tell you guys on the podcast, because she's like, I just can't wait. They need to know. And I'm like, I'll tell them on the podcast. I don't want them to know before it.
Is that why Wendy asked me for my address?
Yes, because I didn't want to ask you, because I was like, it's going to be weird if I ask. So I was like, Wendy, do you have Wes's address?
Well, guys, with 50 seconds remaining.
Mine says 2 minutes and change.
Really?
Yeah, mine does too.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, we got upgraded. All right, let's keep going.
Mine says like 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
All right.
So did you see you saw the news today with the New York City, the Project Cupid?
Yes.
We can get married online now?
Virtually.
Oh, yeah.
Forget about it. What kind of bullshit is that?
People are trying to get divorced right now. Who's trying to get married?
It's a different
we should get Greg T to do it.
Speaking of, did you see that? I'm like throwing these topics out there so fast now, but Ashley Madison, which is that the cheating website, apparently all these cyber affairs are spiking right now because there are people that are in loveless marriages that are like, they can't tolerate being home quarantined with their partner.
So they're going out and just getting quarantined with a total stranger and getting their rocks off.
Having an online affair. I mean, it's ridiculous, but
get over
People are still
yourself,
using that?
buddy.
Yeah.
People still use that site even though it's been hacked before?
I wouldn't know because
people still
on
use
it,
it.
Wes.
Apparently.
I'm just
I
saying.
wouldn't know
It
firsthand.
was all in the news.
No, but
We've
it's
got
not
less
hacked.
than a minute, so
Call
we
the
might as
name.
well wrap up soon.
Yeah, I know. Let's try not to squish all these topics into the end of this episode. So we'll have plenty more to talk about next week. But in the meantime,
thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you for your egg advice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm going to follow your advice and use it.
Let's just say that the place you can reach us all is Tails Over Cocktails on Instagram and Tails OC on Twitter. Until next time, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.